Hello friends, thanks for joining me today. Today we are working on crafty clusters and I am joining in with Susan Hiles Art for her open collaboration. This week's theme is time or clock. So I went digging through all of my goodies to see what I had that would work with this theme. A week or so ago I used one of these wooden clocks, so I knew I had 3 more of those that I could work with, so that was pretty exciting. I wanted to mention that I will have Susan's link in my description box, and in her description box she will have all of the collaborators that are participating, and there are lots of them. So if you need inspiration on ideas for crafty clusters, definitely go check them out. This week I'm trying to use up some of the scraps that I have hanging around, but also I'm using some paper pack that I've had for a little while as well. And so this doily that you see here, that was like a piece of scrap doily, so I'm going to go ahead and use that on several of these. So when I make clusters, I try to do a minimum of 3 layers, and then of course if I can get more than that on there, sometimes that's really nice too, but always at least 3 layers. So on this one we're starting with the doily, and then over top of that I put a piece of fabric. Actually, that fabric was given to me by my friend Carol at Carol's Crafted Boutique, and I have used it so sparingly because I love it so much. So I use smaller pieces of it frequently as opposed to using big pieces of it and then running out. And I'm actually down to like a piece that's about 4 inches by 3 inches. So I'm getting close to the bottom of that one, but I do love it. So then I put on top of that a black paper flower, and now I'm putting the clock on. So that cluster ended up with 4 layers, well, including the actual base would be 5 total. Now moving on to the next one is a piece of wood grain, like a white wood grain cardstock, and then I'm using a piece of that fabric that I love so much from my friend Carol, and then over top of that I'm using the doily because I think the fabric looks really neat peeking through the doily. And then we will go ahead and finish this one off with another one of the wooden clocks. So on to the third one. So this piece has the dark wood grain and it's got like that decoration in the corner. So I took a little square that I had and I rounded the corners. We're going to go ahead and put that on, and that almost has like a lace look to it. You'll notice today I am using 3 different types of glue. I've got my glue gun, I have my Aleene's tacky glue, then I also have my glue stick. And I'm using the glue stick on the doily because it's hard to use the Aleene's on the doily, although you'll see later on I will do that just to make sure it sticks. So I'm just using a combination of glues depending on what I'm trying to glue down. So this one has 4 layers total. I think that looks pretty cute. Now here I've got a piece of vellum and it has a clock on it, and that was in my scrap bin. Oh yeah, I decided to redo one of the cards. I wanted to use this fabric. This is called something, that piece of fabric where it's like a circle. I don't know what it's called, but my friend Lori at Enchanted Dream 71 gave that to me, and I've been dying to use. She gave me like 4 of them, and I've been dying to use them. So I thought it would be perfect on here. I think the colors match great. So I had ended up pulling the wooden clock off of the black flower, and then I put the cloth piece on, and then the clock went back on top of that. So now back to the vellum piece. I felt very fortunate that I happened to have a piece of vellum that had a clock on it, and that I actually was able to find that in my scraps. I thought that was great. So I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to use that on the top of the white card. And I'm using glue stick for the vellum because, as probably most of you know, vellum's kind of a funny thing, and when you wet it with glue, it rolls and stuff like that. But I'm experimenting with the glue stick with it, and it seems to be working fine. I'm just keeping pressure on it until it dries, but then it seemed to adhere fine. I'll check it in a couple of days to make sure it's not lifting. If it is lifting, I might go ahead and go over it with my sewing machine. So now I have a piece of scrap paper with like a fall leaf on it. Actually, it was from an old calendar that my sister gave me, and the colors go perfectly well with the piece of vellum that I used. So we're going to use that as a base for the cluster part of this little card. So I've got the other piece of vellum that I cut the clock out of. I'm going to layer that on top of the leaf image. Oh, actually, yeah, I forgot I did this. I'm voicing over because while I was creating the video, there was a lot of activity going on in my house, and it was quite noisy. So we had people cooking in the kitchen, we had the Roomba vacuuming the floors, we had people going in and out. It was just super noisy. So I thought I'd go ahead and voice over. So anyway, as you could see, I put a piece of my coffee and gold dyed paper on there, and then I put the vellum on top of that, and then I found this beautiful orange button. I believe my daughter gave it to me, but if I'm wrong and you sent that to me, please don't hesitate to let me know. So you saw me sand the back of it. Frequently when we have items that are not etched, they maybe don't stick as well, so I went ahead and etched it with the sandpaper, and now I'm going to go ahead and use gem tack to adhere that on top of the other parts of this cluster. So I think this card turned out really cute. I like the colors, and it's just kind of fresh and different, and I think it came together nicely. So I want to show you each of the cards that I made because I'm going to go on and make some more clusters in this video today. Since I was sitting down and making them, I figured I'd take advantage of the time and just make some more. But these are the ones that have clocks on them. I love the way that they turned out. I hope that you like them too. So while I had the scraps out and the scrapbook paper out, I figured, I would go ahead and make some more. So here I've got, it's a tag, and I put, as you could see, a piece of paper doily on it, and then I lined it with black ribbon, and I got that black ribbon from my friend Dee's at Turtle Dove. She sent me a package recently, and it had some ribbons in it, and I thought it would be nice to use them on some of these clusters that I'm hanging, or that I'm adding to the cards. And then I have this little teacup, and it is black, and so I just think that looks really nice together. Moving on to this little tag. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen this one. So this was a little tag, and I added a fabric pull so that when you put it in a pocket, you can pull it out. Now, I'm not done with that tag. I was just setting it aside until I decided what else I wanted to add to it. So here we go. We're just adding some doily to this one. Hope everybody's doing good. I hope you all had a really nice weekend. I had a really nice weekend, and I went, what did we do this weekend? I went to this little town called Safety Harbor, and they had their farmers market going on. So me and my daughter and her boyfriend Nick, we all went there, and we did a yoga class in the park, and that was really awesome. And I'm definitely feeling that today, but totally worth it. And we were able to get some lunch there because um, they had some food vendors out, and one of them made gluten-free and vegan food, and it was delicious. I ended up getting this sandwich on this gluten-free fresh bread, but it wasn't really bread, but it was kind of bread. It was really dynamic and good, and yeah, it was yummy. And then he made also gluten-free and vegan churros, and I hadn't had a churro since I've been eating gluten-free, which is like 11 years, and it was delicious. It was a s'mores one, and so he put some graham cracker, which again gluten-free, and then cinnamon and marshmallows, and then Nutella on top. Oh my goodness, you want to talk about a treat? It truly was. So that was fun. And what else did we? Oh yeah, there was a man who was a beekeeper, and so he was selling honey. And so he had one called pumpkin spice honey, and so it was infused, and it was so delicious. So I ended up buying one of those and bringing it home, because how could I not? So that was fun. I'm trying to think if we bought anything else. Oh yeah, there was a guy that makes wonderful cold brew coffee. He sells it in mason jars, and he adds not almond milk, but oat milk to it, which is great because, my daughter doesn't like, well, none of us drink real milk. I never raised them on actual cow's milk, so they never had that really in their lives, unless they had ice cream, but not just drinking like a cup of milk. We always had almond milk, soy milk, oat milk. And now she's a vegan, so the fact that he made it with oat milk was awesome. So we ended up getting some of his coffee beans and also some of his cold brew. And he gave us a little taste test, and it was good. So that was fun. So we had a fun day at the little market and doing our yoga and all that. Yeah, it was great. Over the weekend, I also worked on cleaning up my crafty space, and I am making really great progress. Oh, and that's something else. If you have followed me this far into the video, probably a lot of you won't hear this, and that's okay. I'll repeat it in another video, because I know not everybody has time to, listen to every video all the way through. But I will share with you that I am cleaning my crafty space, as you guys know, because I talk about it a lot. But some of my video formats might be slightly different because I am cleaning my space, but I'm filming in a different space, and I don't necessarily want to drag my stuff back out to my filming space. So you might just be seeing the end product sometimes. I hadn't cleaned up this stuff off my table yet, and so that's why I'm doing process video here. But like on Tassel Tuesday, that was yesterday, so you would just see that I'm showing off the tassels that I had already made. But I made 4 of them, and they were super cute, and they're all gnome tassels. So if you don't watch Tassel Tuesday and you want to check it out, go do that. It's a collaboration, and for 4 weeks I am collaborating with my friend Normalisa, the Misfit Florida crafter, and we are making gnome tassels for 4 weeks in a row. And this week was Thanksgiving gnomes, so that's a lot of fun. And then next week is going to be shabby chic, and I'm super excited about that. So if you want to check that out, you can. 2 gnome tassel videos are up already. So back to this tag here, I decided I had this beautiful flower. This was gifted to me, and I think I remember who gave it to me, but just in case I'm wrong, I'm not going to say the name. But if it was you and you're seeing this video, please feel free to put it in the comment, and I will pin your comment at the top of the video. or at the top of the comment section is what I should say. Yep, and then I'm adding this pretty rhinestone to it, and I just think that's simple but super pretty. Back to layering some more tags. So this one's kind of unique. Oh yeah, so now as I was chit-chatting, we were layering tags, and now I'm putting the finishing touches on everything. So this one I'm going to go ahead and put a little red rose, and I think that it's kind of unique, very different, and I like it. This one I am going to put a big rhinestone on it right in the center. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk to you about what I'm doing here. So sometimes when you use gem tack and then you press your gem down, you know, obviously some of the glue can come out of the edges. Well, I will take a piece of scrap paper and then just kind of clean that up, because if you don't, it'll show. And not that it's a huge deal that it shows, but I don't like it to show if I can help it. Sometimes I can't help it, but if I can clean it up, then that's what I try to do. So on this one, I'm adding a satin flower in a cream color, and you see I'm putting my clothespin on it just to make sure it gets glued down, and I'll set that aside until the glue dries. And on that I was using Fabri-Tac. So I've got these two tags here. I'm loving these with the teacups and the lace and the trim. So pretty. So I'm deciding which embellishments to use, and there's this big pearl here, and I end up using that on this one with the white teacup, and I think it's the perfect finishing touch. I'm sorry if you're hearing some almost echoey sounds or just background noise. I've got my windows open because we finally got some nice weather, and so sometimes when I have the windows open, you can hear the, you know, the wind or the outside stuff going on. Trash trucks are going by because it's trash pickup day, all that good stuff. So in this one I added a rhinestone, and I think that looks nice. Here the flower is all dried now, so you can see that. And then there's the one with the gemstone. Here's the one with the white one with the pearl. That pearl, that's a halfback. That was given to me by my friend Kathy at Kathy's Favorite Things. Well, friends, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching. See you soon.